about 13 dBi for 5 gig is this product is UK Band B IR 2006 legal. Big mouthful, but what it basically means is this is one of the few 5 gig products which you can actually legally use in the UK. And one of the things it does, one of the rules for that legal restriction is the total EIRP output can only be 30 dBm. Now, this product has an 18 dBm power output plus 13 dBi antenna makes 31 dBm. Take off the dB for the connection pigtail inside, and you can see this product actually meets the 30 dBm EIRP legal limit. Now, that's worth bearing in mind because there are other products out there. One that begins with the word N and ends in the word 5, for example, which is not. Now, the MIMO Jnr has various alignment tools in its software, so you can actually always in the alignment setup of the system. It uses PoE. It uses a 24-volt PoE, which certainly is good enough for 100 meters for this product. I say it uses 11N. 11N up to 300 meg backbone. Say we've seen a true TCP transfer speed of 83 meg out of this device. Very flexible in its operating modes. It can do more than just be used as a site-to-site bridging, has all the standard modes you expect to see on a decent access point mode client, routing client. It's got gateway mode. I'll come to these modes later on if you don't know what they mean. Wireless adapter mode and transparent client mode. So I'll try to cover all those later on. Now, I mentioned at the previous slide that it has this dual antenna setup, dual polarized antenna setup. Now, forgive me if it's a grandmother sucking eggs type slide, but I need to go through it because I think some people out there probably don't really know what this means. If you think what the MIMO Jnr has, it has two antennas which are 90 degrees orientated to each other. Now, a normal Wi-Fi signal coming out of an antenna, as you probably realize, it's a wave. Okay, now it's a wave, and normally for most Wi-Fi equipment, that wave sends a signal going up and down. As you can see here by this polar plot, polar vector diagram, you actually got it going up and down in the direction of travel. Now what you can do is you can turn the antenna through 90 degrees and have it going side by side. Now actually you can send the same data stream over two antennas orientated this way, and it's just like they are two completely separate antennas. Now the advantage of actually having one antenna going this way, one antenna going that way, is you can actually mount them in the same housing. And in fact, if you actually take one of these MIMO Jnrs apart, the antenna is a very, very cunning design. It's a single antenna, but the antenna actually transmits both polarizations at the same time. Very cunning design. Don't ask me how it works. I know nothing about antenna design, but it's certainly an extremely compact design, which gives means it can be into say it's only about the size of an A5 book, so it gets really small size. Now this shows the polar plots for the two antennas, and also what you can see here is what they've done is they've tried to draw the polar plots from both antennas. That's the vertically polarized and the horizontal polarized. This is for the 2.4 gig version. This is the 5 gig version. And obviously, as you can see, the 2.4 gig has a fatter beam compared with the 5 gig, and that's obviously as expected because this is only an 8 dB antenna and this is a 13 dB antenna. So being a 13 dB antenna over an 8 is going to be a much more focused directional beam coming out of it. Now what we're going to do is just play a quick short video which just goes setting up of the MIMO Jnr. So what you basically have to do in order to actually link two buildings using it. So I'll just click on here and hopefully it should play. Oh. Okay, so let's go over the setup of a couple of MIMO Jnrs to show how easy to set up a link. As I've already said, what we're going to do is set up as one as an access point and one as a client. So I've got one first of all connected to our network here. So I'm going to type in its default address of 192.168.1. and the default password is password. So type that in and log in. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is change the IP address of this unit. That's just so when we finally get the two units on a link, we don't want them to clash with each other. So we'll just change this to the address 192.168.1.168.2. So click on apply. Now it's saying we need to re-log in on the new address. So just click on there. So the default password is password. So log in. Now what we're going to do is do the basic Wi-Fi setup. So the first thing we need to do is change it to the correct frequency band. Now this unit I've got here is the 2.4 gig version of the unit, so we need to set it up to use 11NBG, like that. And the next thing we need to do is set the country domain to UK. So now we've done that, we click on apply. Okay, now what we need to do is we just need to change the mode. So we'll click on here and we'll change it to client mode. As we pointed out, one end is access point, the other end is a client. Click on OK, and now we have to reboot it. So now the device is just rebooting. Okay, so now the device has rebooted and automatically come back to the login page. We just log in and now just check the settings to make sure they're all okay. So yes, we've got it as client mode and we've got it set to N, B and G. So that's all we have to do for the client product. So what I'm going to do now is just disconnect this this client unit and connect it to a remote laptop. Okay, so what I've done now is I've disconnected the client from our network here and connected to a remote PC, and I've just connected another MIMO Jnr unit to our network, which of course will now be on its default address of 168.168.1. It again, default password is password, log in. So this is the second unit now, which we're now going to configure as an access point. So if we go to the basic wireless setup, as you can see, the default mode is access point anyway. So the only thing that we have to do here is we have to change it to use 2.4 gig frequency bands, and we have to set the country to United Kingdom. And now we can click on apply. Now in order for these changes to have an effect, we have to reboot the unit. But what I'm going to do before I start it rebooting, I'm just going to set up a ping from my computer here to that remote laptop I mentioned, which is on the address 1.235. So we're just going to set that going. And then we can see when the link is automatically created once this unit reboots. So what we're going to do now is reboot this unit here. So click on Reboot System. That's rebooting. So say this is going to take about 30 seconds. Okay, so bringing up the ping screen, we can see the pings going across to the remote notebook. As it says, this is going to take about 30 seconds. So we need to patiently wait now for the units to reboot. But once this unit's rebooted, then the link should automatically be created between the two units, and we should see the pings start to happen. Okay, so in the background we can see that the unit has now rebooted, and after a few seconds, bingo, the pings start to happen. So now we have the pings going between the two units to the remote PC. And that's all that's needed to set up these devices. If I go and log in here,